Hello friends, how are you doing? Dr. Akiro here once again. Hope you've been well since last week, and once again thank you for investing in yourself by taking the time to listen to this. Now today I want to talk about culture. A kingdom is identified by the culture. I remember the time that I spent a year in Jerusalem, and as I walked around I saw short guys, I saw tall guys, I saw people who had Caucasian features, who had Mongoloid features, Chinese, Japanese. I saw South Americans, I saw Ethiopians. But as I looked through, I understood one of the things. You could tell the level of integration into the Israeli nation by the level of cultural assimilation that they had. This is a particularly interesting example because the nation was born by bringing in, through the Aliyah process, bringing in people who had been scattered abroad into a single nation. And I find that it gives us a very good opportunity for us to reflect. One of the things that is critical about that process of them being entrenched into the Israeli culture is their language. They speak Hebrew. One of the critical things that happens even for young men before they go back into that land is they are taught the language. And there is a language that is not just words. It's a tone, it's an attitude, it's a disposition. I had a discourse one time down on Ben Yehuda Street with one of the young men, 10-year-old boy. And as I had a discussion with him, he could give me in a few minutes a rundown of where he's come from, where they're going, and why he stands out as a child looking forward to his bar mitzvah when he gets 13. He knew the rites of passage. He knew the things that made him stand out from the rest of the world. The language was one, but he also knew where he's coming from and where he's going. There was clarity at the individual level. One of the things the enemy will do against your life is to fight so that you have perpetual confusion and lack of clarity. Either by competing interests, by distractions, by a confusion between where you are going to and where you're coming from. So that even though you may be in a certain level of transition, the enemy would want you to have two parallel identities, of the world and of the kingdom. The world is broken down into tribes, into races, into genders, into the rich and poor. They have clusters that are made of all kinds of things. But in the kingdom, you are either a child or you are not. You are either a subject of the king or you are a stranger in the kingdom. And these initial original identifications of where we came from must diminish for a concomitant and agreeable, acceptable level of kingdom identity to actually flourish in your life. If you try to keep the weeds and the wheat growing at the same time, I assure you the wheat never chokes the weed. It's the weed that chokes the wheat. So your word and your kingdom identity can suffer so long as you have allowed other things to grow and get a hold of you. So this week as we go, my question is, how clear are you in your kingdom identity? And how deep has it sunk? And can the king have final word regarding the issues in your life? Or do the other voices from where you came from, your natural extraction, your gender, your age, your temperament, name it, do they have a louder say on what you do and how you think rather than the king? This week as you go forward, to the king be the glory. Bless you.